So on behalf of the Bijujanatadal, under instructions of our former Chief Minister, the party president, Honorable Shri Naveenpatnaik, we, the 7 members of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, and I, a former member of parliament, we went to give a letter petition to the Election Commission of India at 3:30 today. The petition basically is on the subject of some unexplainable and unusual variances between the votes polled, votes cast, and the voting pattern in the parliament elections and the assembly elections 2024. As you would realize, Odisha, besides Andhra Pradesh, was the only state where assembly elections and parliament elections were held together simultaneously. During the process of post-poll analysis of the pattern of voting, the party was conducting a research, and what emanated from this research is contained in this petition which I'll be talking to you about. The petition is basically directed at improving the transparency of the election process in the country. As you know, the statesman that our former Chief Minister Honorable Naveenpatnaik is, he was not casting any aspersion on the Election Commission, but basically to tell them that there is a need to get more assurance, there is a need to give more assurance to the people of the state and people of the country at large on the election process itself, the machines involved, the manual processes involved. There are 3 issues on which we have flagged in the letter petition. The first one is the difference in the total votes polled in a booth and the total votes counted from the same EVM. I'll just repeat. It is the difference in the total votes polled in a particular booth using the EVM and the total number of votes finally counted from the same EVM. Now what we found that the form 17C, which is filled up at the time of voting, is given by the presiding officer at the closure of the polls, and then form 20 is filled up by the returning officer while counting. What we found is, there are some illustrations that we have given here from the data that was already available to the party and to some of their candidates. Data across all the 38,000 odd booths in the state was not available to us. Now what we have found, and is given in this petition, a copy of which will be shared with you in annexure, is that in one booth, for example, booth number 57 of 84 Fulbani Scheduled Tribe AC, under Kandhamal PC parliamentary constituency, this difference is 682 in one booth. In booth number 165 and booth number 219 of Talsara AC under Sundargarh PC, this difference is 660 and 784. I can go on, but you can see it in the annexure. We'll share it with you. These are just some of the illustrations based on the data that we had. So in order to make a kind of pan-state analysis, our candidates, in some cases are representatives of the party, made representations to the returning officers to furnish them copy of the Form 17C Part 1 and 2 because they had not collected it at that time. We have also furnished this information to the Election Commission that we were not furnished the data as yet. That is, Form 17C Part 1 would indicate the number of people who have polled, who have reached the booth for polling, and 17C Part 2 would indicate the number of votes that was counted. Now, this variation raises questions about the integrity of the whole process. How is this possible? Especially when EVMs are used, we expected that these discrepancies would probably lessen or would probably not be there at all compared to the manual process when we were doing. But when these discrepancies are as high as 784 out of 600 and 660, you see in a polling booth, the number of people who vote is probably 1,000. Now, if there is such a huge difference, then it raises alarms, and that is what we have done today. The discrepancy in the cases at single booth level, if it is aggregated for all the booths in a constituency, it could probably impact the result or influence the final result of the constituency. Why we couldn't do it? Because we don't have the data, and that is why we had asked the election commission, the returning officers. Most of the returning officers refer to the chief electoral officer for clarification. We have indicated this to the Election Commission of India also today, requesting to give an instruction to share this data with the people, with our people who have applied certified copies of the same, because it's a serious issue. And under Rule 93.2, which is what we indicated today to the Election Commission as well, of the conduct of election rules, this data should be available, or these papers, 17C Part 1 and Part 2, should be available to anyone from the public on payment of a fee. And when our candidates have also applied, it is actually all the more serious if it is not furnished to us.
भारतर एकमात्र परीक्षित बायोसार पृथ्वी प्रो माटी को रखे सुस्थ दिए नुआ जीवन धान पनीपरिबा और डाली जातीय फसल पाई लाभदायक अमल बढ़ाए रोग कमाए आज ही जमी रे प्रयोग करंतु जोगाजोग पाई 9937054201 नंबर को डायल करंतु आम सह जोड़ी हेबा पाई आमकु लाइक फॉलो और सब्सक्राइब करंतु अधिक अपडेट पाई विजिट करंतु आम वेबसाइट thequiver.in